Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I'm your host, Tashira Say. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to episode 100. 3 years in the making. If I don't sound as excited, it's for good reason. Let me talk to you for a second. I put a lot of time and energy into planning every assignment, but episode 100, 100 podcasts, 100 assignments, that's a feat. This particular assignment was special. There's this concept called STEMs. It has been growing over the last several years. I would say maybe close to a decade at this point. And one of the first people I heard that was using this concept is Kanye West. I'm not a huge fan of his work, but I do respect him. STEMs are basically not getting the stereo signal as we're used to, be it off of vinyl or CD, MP3, however you do your samples. But STEMs are actually getting the entire session of an artist. For instance, Gamble and Huff offers this service. And if you don't know about Gamble and Huff, you definitely need to put some research in. They are responsible for some of the greatest music of all time. But just imagine being able to get a Teddy Pendergrass session. I'm talking about being able to get access to every track of Teddy Pendergrass's session. You got the bass, the drums, the keyboards, all of his vocal tracks, and so on. And basically, with this concept of STEMs, you go in, you have the sessions, you study it, and you say, cool, I'm going to use that piano track, and I have it separated, so now I can go in and use that exactly how it is, or I can sample it, manipulate it, and implement it into my brand new creation. In fact, Native Instruments has actually made this a part of their Tractor series now, where they offer this kind of stuff. So anyhow, we did our organic thing for week 95. And in my opinion, our best episode of the first 100 episodes. Knowing that 100 was coming up, I set this up perfectly. We had the episode, and I went to everybody personally, yo, let me get that session. Let me get that session. Let me get that session. And only like 2 people were like, well, what are you doing with it? I was just like, no, don't worry about it. Trust me, I got a plan. And basically what I did is I threw everybody's sessions up for week 95 on the site. I threw it up on the site along with the assignment. Take down as many sessions as you want, take whatever out of those sessions as you want, and integrate them into your new creation as the STEMs work. And we actually got 8 submissions that I was highly anticipating on. But what I also had planned is I didn't want to do a podcast in the form that I'm doing it right now. I actually made the plan weeks in advance, and I put it out there in advance and told everybody that I wanted to do episode 100 as a live podcast, as a hangout, so to speak. Everybody got together in the chat room, the video chat yesterday, and it was absolutely beautiful what went down. The whole point was to get everybody together. We talk about, you have the person who actually made the creation, break down what they did, as opposed to just having me do it. And then have everybody else who was there kind of give their critique of what they heard, as opposed to just me doing it. And it was an absolutely beautiful occasion. One of the best things I've ever taken part of in my life. So we went about 3 hours, and SummerSlam, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I always watch the pay-per-views with my boys. SummerSlam was coming on at 6, and we ended right before 6. It was perfect. Saved everything and kept on going. Watched SummerSlam last night, went to sleep, boom. Wake up this morning, because I'm recording this on August 24th, the Monday after, and I find out that the video was fine. The audio, however, was not. There were periods where it dropped out, where it was distorted, And there were other periods where it seemed like it just didn't record at all. So it was entirely jacked up. And I'm upset. In fact, I am incredibly pissed about it. More so for everybody that participated yesterday, because they took time away from their families, from their jobs possibly, from other activities, possibly working on their new assignment to come through and be a part of this once in a lifetime occasion, so to speak. And it was absolutely beautiful what happened. The kind words, the encouragement, the fellowship and brotherhood, so to speak, of just everybody, feeding off of each other, being there and listening to the podcast together for once, and actually giving it was excellent. It was an absolutely awesome experience, and I'm very upset that I can't present it to you in the form that we recorded it. So the show must go on. I want to give major shouts out to everyone that participated yesterday. Even though Gold 007 wasn't able to make it through, I want to give shout out to him for actually participating in the assignment. And most importantly, my apologies to everyone involved, everyone that's listening and watching right now, because this was going to be something incredibly special. And unfortunately, it's just a regular podcast. And I'll do my best to make it not the average podcast, but I don't have any choice in the matter. That being said, we're going to jump into the submissions, and we have 8. Starting off with my man representing OKC, JSP8. Let's go. Yes, JSP8 doing his thing, kicking off week number 100. Very, very, very dope submission. One of the things that I've constantly talked about is the fact that JSP came in with like almost no experience or skill of making beats, and the way he has evolved, and it's going on a year now. Actually, no, 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 no. That's not true. It would be a year, I think, in January or February when he came around. But it's been 6, 7 months now that dude has just been just killing it. And again, for someone no who had no idea how to make beats and to come in and just deliver the way he has over these last several months is incredible, man. And I don't actually have his listing of what he used. If I remember correctly, I know he said he used some drums from someone else and maybe some pads, and the rest was all created by him. But that submission was dope, man. It's mixed very well. I know he doesn't know a lot about that. Drums and everything sound good. The sequencing, everything about that track is very dope, man. And the only thing I have to say is just keep doing what you're doing, man. You are definitely in the right lane. You're on the right path. And if you continue on the at the pace that you are and with the intensity and the passion that you have, you are definitely going to do good, my man. Definitely. I promise you that. So excellent submission right there. Way to represent, my man. All right, moving on to my man down in Tampa, Florida. Gold 007. Let's go. My man, your man, Gold 007. That dude just brings it repeatedly. He continues to just impress, just banging out that heat, man, that goodness. Oh my God. Whew. All right, let's break that down. He said meat and potatoes. That was mostly him, and of course it's a gold track, man. It definitely sounds and feels like a gold track, and that's not saying anything negative at all. I love Gold's music. I think you guys know this by now. But he actually used Wallace's and RTO's drums and string pad. He used Nocturnal's string sweep, and he also used some drums. He used another intro sweep, last rise and fall sweep by AR Music. For JSP, he has bass, bass, bass. That's excellent, man. Sho-Nuff, he used two synth leads, and also says will be obvious. For Taurus, he actually used the piano and waves morphed. I'm not sure what that last part means. And then the rest of it was, of course, himself, and delivered, man. Gold is, again, one of my favorite people, not just as a musician, but just as just an overall good person, man. And listening, knowing what he's been through and listening to what he produces on damn near a weekly basis, on a very, very frequent basis. This dude just kills it. And the fact that, once again, the whole assignment was to take other people's stuff, not somewhat in a sense of how we do a sample mutilation or something like that, but to take your peers' music and create your own music with that. Very, very excellent, my man. So thank you for that submission. All right, coming back up to South Carolina, Charleston, to be exact. My man, DJ Nocturnal. Let's go. Yes, DJ Nocturnal. Yeah, that track was dope. Again, another dude that came in with like no experience, no idea of how to do this stuff. And he's been here a little over a year at this point. And man, if you've been paying attention to the podcast, even if it's been for a couple months, a few months, you know the progression and the evolution that Locke has been through. Man, I'm incredibly impressed with his work, man, and his evolution, for real. So he said he actually used some of Mr. Wallace's elements, more specifically his drums and a couple of other things. And I know he said in the when we did our hangout yesterday that he actually used some other stuff originally, and he kind of, took it out, scaled it back because it just didn't fit with the final product. And another thing that he expressed is that he constantly goes backs. Did I really say that? He constantly goes back and reevaluates things, and remixes and re-edits and all this kind of stuff. And it sounded like he was taking it as a negative that he does that, as if he's doing that because he's not as far along as he should be or whatnot. And one thing I did is I stopped him and I was like, dude, that's passion. That's passion for the project, for making sure that everything is tight. You don't want to have anything lame representing you. And that's exactly what you need to have in this business, because Lord knows the amount of people that make a 5-minute beat, they barely mix it, they barely have any transitions or any change ups or any other elements to give it movement. And then they think they're really doing something, and they throw it out there either for free, they release it for $5 or whatever the situation may be, and they're fine with that because they get paid a couple of dollars here and there. And it's like, I'm living. I'm like, nah, bruh, your music sucks. It's that simple. Then you have somebody like Locke second guessing himself, because he is passionate about making good music and putting it out there. So for Locke and anybody else that has that issue, if you're constantly going back to a song or you're changing it up, reevaluating it, or whatever the situation may be, here's my thoughts on that. The beat isn't finished until it's mastered with that person's vocals that you sold it to over it. It's that simple. You can always go back and tweak it here and there, do some edits, add some more to it, take some away, do different mixes. You can always do that. That's passion. That's what you need to have in this business. And Locke, you definitely have it, man. I'm highly impressed with you. You're one of my favorite people, definitely one of my favorite musicians, and I'm glad to have you at CMA, dude. That's real talk. So thank you for that submission. All right, moving out to Fairfield, California, my man, RTO Beats. Let's go. RTO Beats. Oh my God. Woo, boy. That was nice. That was sick. Oh my. And again, taking other people's stuff and just going nuts with it. So I don't actually have his breakdown. You know, he didn't send it through the submission, with the submission, I should say. But from what I remember him breaking down yesterday, he was saying he used some of Wallace's stuff, some of Taurus's stuff. He definitely used some of Sho-Nuff's vocals, as you heard. Before I even get to that, but and I want to say one or two other elements. And just listening to that first half of that song is just like, wow. RTO, that's my dude, okay? I have a personal relationship with pretty much everybody at CMA. Like, we talk about life, music, or whatever, you know, privately, I should say, outside of what everything else that's going on at CMA. And, you know, I know RTO has actually been going through a lot of stuff within his life. And this has been therapy for him, joining CMA and creating music on a regular basis, especially with the diversity of assignments that we have, as opposed to just make a beat. You know, how the assignments work is make this type of beat, or make a beat only doing this, or make a beat where you can't use this, blah, blah, blah. So he really appreciates and thrives off of that, as you've heard over the last couple of months. And just to hear him express that yesterday was really cool. To see his growth, because I've known him for, you know, a couple of years before CMA. I've heard some of his beats before CMA. It's almost like joining CMA hit the switch and he just went poof. He just took off and started really growing in his music. And I'm glad that that's been happening for him. This beat is nasty, especially around the 115 mark, where the beat just changed completely. Oh my. That last part was nuts. The way he had, it was just beautiful. It was a total difference from the first minute and 15 seconds. And once it changed, it was something entirely different, almost as if it wasn't within the same song, even though we know it was. But the way his drums and everything changed, and the sequencing, and then the way he used Sho-Nuff's vocals to where they were filtered, they were cut a little bit, I should say chopped, and then panned them a certain way to where it's like, hey. Oh my God. That is absolutely beautiful what he did with that track, man. And I'm so glad to have him a part of CMA. If for nothing else, for himself, that now he has the, I don't know if discipline is the word, but he definitely has the avenue to do what he's doing now. I'm incredibly happy for him. So thank you, my man. All right, moving out west a little bit. Well, actually coming back east from the west, but still out west. My man, AR Music. Let's go. Mm. Originally representing Akron, Ohio, now in Phoenix, Arizona, my man AR Music. Stupid. Just incredibly stupid. Listen to that track, man. And again, I don't have his breakdown, but I do remember him saying he used Sho-Nuff's drums, and Sho-Nuff's drums in that track from 95 was just ridiculous. But he had Sho-Nuff's drums and some other synth and pad elements. I believe he said from Wallace and not AR, from Gold 007, one or two other people. But the majority of it is something that he made himself, and he just used a few things. I had some other stuff in there, but I took it out because it didn't match in the end, and that's fine. But what he did was just sick. AR has been growing tremendously over this last year. I think years been that he's been with us, and the growth, the evolution of this track is really dope. It, for the most part, it kind of stays with I would say a main sequence, but then the evolution of the elements within that main sequence, the muting and the different change ups and transitions worked perfectly. And he still has fill-ins and transmissions in there in a verse and a hook kind of part, and bridge, or however you want to say. Great instrumentation, great mixing. And that was one thing that everybody was talking about yesterday, just how AR's stuff is really sounding on a sonic level right now. Very, very, very dope, my man. I'm another one of my favorite people, and I love what he brings to the table. And there's some thoughts I guess I'll keep to the end that I really want to express about everybody at CMA, so I'll hold on to that. But AR, thank you for participating, and thank you for being a part of what we do, man. For real, I am. All right, moving up to Detroit, to my man, who I specifically said is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite musicians, and I'm incredibly proud to have him as a friend, as well as another representative of Detroit. My man, Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace. Man, that was sick. Boy. The cats we have in CMA. So he said he pulled some synths from JSP8, drums from Nocturnal, and some other elements from a couple of other people. Woof. Wallace, man, the things he does on a regular basis, damn near a weekly basis, but dude shows up at least 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month on average. And man, when he comes through, he comes through. I've said that several times, and I will continue to say it because he continues to do something fresh and exciting every week. This dude, he came in, a matter of fact, he said it yesterday, he came in on week 43, and he's banged out damn near every assignment with the exception of maybe like 9, I think he said. That's crazy. He's in here damn near every single week, and he's constantly doing something exciting, something refreshing with his tracks, because we've had people that are able to make tracks and submit, pretty much every week. But I've actually seen it to where it kind of gets, for the lack of a better term, it kind of gets boring because they don't do anything different. It's just the fact that they can bang out a beat and for the most part match the assignment, but they don't take the opportunity. And I'll go back to talking about Locke. They don't have that passion, obviously, that determination, that discipline to want to make the best product possible and release it to the public. That's one thing that Wallace and so many other people at CMA has, is they will continue to critique and overanalyze and continue to go back. And, in Wallace's case, this dude does different mixes. So like he'll make his submission and maybe like an hour later, I'll get another mix. And maybe like 2 or 3 hours later, I get a different mix. If I haven't done the podcast at that point, it's like, please use the last one. But man, what he did with this track and the elements that he used from everyone else's tracks, nothing short of incredible, man. I love what he does. He is incredibly talented. And again, I'm happy to have him as a part of CMA. So thank you, sir, for participating this week. Moving on to the other side of town, my man, your man, Sho-Nuff. Let's go.
Footprints in the sand. 2 sets, now 1. You know what that means. He's carrying me. Footprints in the sand. Footprints in the sand. Footprints in the sand. Persecutions.
Man. That's all I gotta say about that track. Man. This guy, Sho-Nuff, is... he's a nut. He is crazy, dude. That dude is not stable. He's not a human. Yo, that track, it hit me again, man. So, he used a lot of Taurus's track. And I love what he did with it. You know, he actually just let long parts of Taurus's track play out and played around it. I love what he did with that. But he used the piano. He used the orchestral elements, which were really dope. And it sounded like he may have used some other of Gold's stuff in there, and maybe one or two other people. But the track, the way it initially began, really dope, and it grew and it grew. I really love his vocals when he lays down vocals on his tracks, whether he's just like singing certain parts to fill in, or he sings whole verses as he has, you know, on previous assignments. But man, what he did with the stuff that he used from other artists, mostly with Taurus's, and just made beautiful music. That's the best thing I can say about it. But then, then it gets to around, I think it's around the 135, 140 mark, where it starts off as this really calm, cool, relaxed, very inspirational, and I would definitely say has some spiritual elements to the track, and you know what I'm talking about. It gets down to the 140, and he just turns into utter chaos. In a good way. In a good way. It just completely flipped into something else, man. This track has a special place in my heart. Excellent, excellent submission, dude. Jeez, OP. My man. All right, moving on to our finale for week 100. My man who brings it every time. There is no lack of talent, dedication, and definitely no lack of good music in general coming from this man. Ladies and gentlemen, Taurus Beats. great one himself, Taurus Beats, closing out episode 100 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Incredible. I'm going to recommend, if you did not listen to episode 95, go back and listen to that, and then come back and re-listen to this podcast, and you will hear pretty much everything used from other tracks. Man, this was incredible, this entire podcast. Taurus, man, this dude. So let me break down what he used. He used the bass and the drums from AR Music. He used the pads from Wallace. He used bass and drums from Sho-Nuff, drums and guitar from Gold, drums and percussion from JSP, piano and guitars from RTO. This dude went all out. Now, we had originally 10 people that participated in 95, but we had issues with 2 of the submissions. But everyone that actually supplied their session, Taurus used it. And man, did he. Holy crap. And Taurus, he admitted that this is really not something that he's familiar with, the whole concept of stems, even though he's a great sampler and chopper. This dude is nasty with that. If you've ever seen any of his videos or heard any of his music that he actually uses samples, he does an incredible job with it. But the way this dude took bits and pieces of everybody's music and created his own sound. Listen to that track and listen to any other tracks by Taurus. And you will see that this sounds exactly like every other Taurus track. I mean, as far as the feel, the tone, the type of instruments that he uses. But we know for a fact he uses everybody else's stuff in this track. And it turned out sick. It's ridiculous what he did with this, man. But he had, like I said, he admitted that he didn't know anything about this concept of stems. And to have this dude turn in this submission right here, boy, I think you figured it out, bro. I think you figured it out. So CMA began on March 29th, 2013. The assignment was not in the original plans. And I added that maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later. And I just had the idea one day, I think it might have been in the shower or something. I said, you know what, how about a homework assignment kind of thing? And I put the word out, and those first couple of weeks, I made it free to where you can just come in, be a part of the assignment, and, you know, get a feel for what I was trying to do at CMA. And because of those first couple of weeks, people actually started to join, and we started establishing the crew. But since then, this thing has grown tremendously. It's funny how I started off CMA as a tutorial house, so to speak. You can come and learn how to do Machine or Ableton and make beats, blah, blah, blah. But the majority of the people that come to CMA, they come for the assignment. They come to be a part of the assignment, either for the publicity or the discipline or the ability to constantly work on something and improve your craft on a regular basis. Whatever it was, by being in the assignment, they have become ridiculously better than they was when they first walked in the door. And that goes for everybody there. The funny thing about the podcast is the amount of people that walk through the door with talent, with passion, who were already making insane beats. And then they've grown and evolved since they've been at CMA and just turned into these incredible artists. And I'm not going to say beat makers and producers. I'm going to say artists, musicians. These dudes, and there's a couple of females, are incredible. They produce, in my opinion, some of the best music in the world. And I love the fact that I am associated with these people, that I have relationships, friendships with these people, that I'm able to present this stuff to you on a weekly basis. You know, I've been through a lot. And one thing that I stressed yesterday, I've told a number of people, make the music your therapy. And they have, and they've grown and improved and healed themselves with the music. This is my therapy. Every Sunday or Monday when I get a chance to record these podcasts and edit them and throw them up on YouTube and on the site and make MP3s of them, that's my therapy, because I get a chance to hear these great musicians go all out every single week. And then I'm able to present them to the public. In turn, there are a lot of people, and you know, they don't always get a chance to comment or share the videos, but I've gotten a lot of people to tweet at me or send me emails on Facebook or send me emails directly, and also leaving comments on YouTube. But they have told me, dude, I love listening to the podcast. I'm highly inspired. I thank you for doing what you guys do, for real. And I always make sure I pass that love on to the people at CMA, so they know that they're actually affecting people and touching people's lives and inspiring people. And I have no issue saying that my people at CMA inspire me as well. With everything that I've been through, I've been able to get a lot accomplished. I've also been able to make it through because of their music. So I am incredibly grateful for everyone that is a part of CMA, and especially those who participate on a regular basis. So I'm going to give a huge shout out to everybody that participated this week. Taurus Beats, Sho-Nuff, Mr. Wallace, AR Music, RTO Beats, DJ Locturnal, Gold 007, and JSP8. Thank all of you for being a part of CMA. Thank you for giving me the inspiration to keep pushing and keep doing what I do and keep trying to come up with new and fresh ideas for assignments and other avenues that we are working on right now to actually get these people paid, get these people famous and known, because they definitely need to be there. There's a lot of people in this industry who are famous and they suck. And then there's people like the people I rock with at CMA that really needs to be known, but unfortunately they are not. That's what we're working on. So I wanted to just say to them and to everybody that's listening and watching these podcasts, thank you. I really appreciate you being a part of what we do every single week. If you would like to be a part of the next 100 episodes, and the next 100 episodes after that, and the next 100 episodes after that, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It's that simple. I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk to you next time. See ya.